Some of the world's most iconic foods weren't created in a flash of genius. They were total accidents. From burnt sugar to forgotten dough, these happy mistakes shaped the way we eat forever. You won't believe which classics were born from pure chaos, random blunders, or straight-up kitchen fails. Let's count down 10 famous foods that weren't meant to exist, but thank the foodie gods they do. Number 10. Popsicles. Born from a kid's mistake. In 1905, 11-year-old Frank Epperson was just trying to make a fruity soda mix on his porch. He stirred together powdered soda, water, and left the stick he'd used for mixing right in the cup. Then, he forgot it outside overnight. The next morning, a frozen fruit-flavored treat on a stick. Instead of tossing it out, Frank took a bite. It was cold, sweet, and surprisingly good. He started making more, calling them Epsicles. But years later, his kids began calling them popsicles, and the name stuck. Decades later, he patented the treat, and it became a summertime staple. He was just a kid trying to mix a drink. Instead, he stumbled into one of the most iconic frozen treats ever created, all because he didn't clean up before bedtime. Number 9. Chocolate chip cookies. The sweetest kitchen fail. Back in the 1930s, Ruth Wakefield was baking at the Toll House Inn when she ran out of baker's chocolate. No problem. She chopped up a Nestlé semi-sweet bar and folded the chunks into her cookie dough, thinking they'd melt down just like the baking kind. But when she pulled the tray from the oven, the chocolate was still in chunks, soft and gooey, but definitely still there. She almost considered it a mistake. Then guests tasted them and asked for more and more. Soon, Nestlé made a deal with Ruth to print her recipe on their packaging, and the Toll House chocolate chip cookie was officially born. One missing ingredient, one quick substitution, and the world's favorite cookie came to life in a moment of pure kitchen improvisation. Number 8. Potato chips, made out of spite. In 1853, a customer at a New York restaurant kept sending back his fried potatoes, complaining they were too thick and soggy. The chef, George Crumb, was irritated, so he sliced the next batch razor-thin, fried them until they shattered like glass, and loaded them with salt. He fully intended to annoy the customer, but instead, the guy loved them, absolutely loved them. So much so, other diners started asking for them too. Before long, Saratoga chips were the restaurant's most popular item, and within a few years, potato chips spread across the country. What started as a petty kitchen protest turned into the salty snack that now fuels parties, barbecues, and every Netflix binge in history. Number 7. Ice cream cones. A sweet save at the fair. In 1904, at the St. Louis World's Fair, an ice cream vendor was slammed with customers and quickly ran out of serving dishes. Things were getting chaotic. Right next to him, a Syrian waffle vendor named Ernest Hamwi had his own stall. And an idea. He rolled one of his thin waffles into a cone shape and handed it over. The ice cream vendor plopped a scoop inside. Problem solved. What started as a desperate fix to avoid angry customers turned into a total crowd pleaser. Soon, more vendors copied it. Ice cream cones became the way to serve frozen treats, and no one looked back. One quick roll of a waffle, and dessert history changed forever. Sometimes genius really does come out of panic. Number 6. Sandwiches. A snack for a gambling earl. We've all eaten one, but the invention of the sandwich wasn't exactly inspired. It was lazy. Back in the 1700s, John Montagu, the 4th Earl of Sandwich, didn't want to leave the card table. He was deep into a gambling streak and needed food he could eat with one hand. So he ordered meat tucked between 2 slices of bread. Easy to hold, no fork required. Other players saw it and started ordering the same as sandwich. The name stuck. Eventually, the concept exploded across Europe and later, the world. The sandwich wasn't invented by a chef. It was invented by a guy too committed to his poker hand to pick up a plate. Number 5. Cheese, spoiled milk, or brilliant accident. The first cheese wasn't made on purpose. It was discovered by someone who stored milk in a pouch made from an animal's stomach. Sounds gross, right? But that pouch contained rennet, a natural enzyme that curdles milk. After a long journey under the sun, the milk separated into curds and whey. Instead of tossing it, someone got curious and tasted it. To their surprise, it wasn't rotten. It was kind of great, tangy, soft, and nourishing. That accidental fermentation kicked off thousands of years of cheese making, evolving into brie, cheddar, Gouda, mozzarella, you name it. One forgotten bag of milk launched an entire dairy empire. What started as a probable mistake ended up being one of the most beloved foods on Earth. Number 4. Cornflakes, breakfast born from a blunder. The Kellogg brothers, John and Will, weren't trying to create a crunchy breakfast cereal. They were actually trying to make a bland, easy-to-digest food for patients at a sanitarium in Michigan. Yep, the original goal? Health food. One night, they accidentally left some cooked wheat sitting out. By the time they returned, it had gone stale. Instead of tossing it, they ran it through rollers to see what would happen. The wheat flattened into thin flakes, which they toasted, and people loved them. Later, they repeated the process with corn, and boom, cornflakes were born. What started as a forgotten tray of mush became a cereal aisle icon. Who knew one kitchen slip-up would lead to snap, crackle, and crunching every morning? Number 3. Worcestershire sauce, the flavor that got better with age. In the 1830s, two chemists in England, John Lee and William Perrins, were asked to recreate a tangy Indian sauce. They whipped something up, and it was terrible. So bad, in fact, they shoved it to the back of the cellar and forgot about it. A few years later, they stumbled on the bottle, popped the lid, and gave it another try. But this time, it was magic. Aging had transformed the mixture into something rich, savory, and perfectly weird. They bottled it, slapped their names on the label, and Worcestershire sauce took off. It was supposed to be a one-and-done failed experiment. Instead, it turned into one of the most iconic condiments ever made, by accident and fermentation. Number 2. Beer, the ancient accident that changed the world. Long before we understood fermentation or had brewing equipment, someone, thousands of years ago, left a mix of soaked grains and water sitting out a little too long. Maybe it was forgetfulness. Maybe it was the weather. Either way, nature did its thing. Yeast in the air crept in. Bubbles formed. The liquid got cloudy. And when someone finally tasted this odd, fizzy concoction, something strange happened. They felt warm, relaxed, happy. That happy accident gave birth to beer, arguably humanity's oldest and most beloved beverage. Ancient Sumerians, Egyptians, and Babylonians all brewed it without really knowing how it worked. It became part of sacred rituals, celebrations, and even daily meals. In some cultures, beer was safer to drink than water. Not bad for a fermentation fail, right? Number 1. Coca-Cola, from nerve tonic to global icon. When pharmacist John Pemberton first created Coca-Cola in 1886, he wasn't trying to invent a soda. He was trying to cure headaches. Really. His original recipe was a mix of coca leaf extract, yep, the plant that produces cocaine, and wine. It was supposed to be a nerve tonic, a pick-me-up for the body and brain. But then, Prohibition hit Atlanta. Alcohol was banned. Pemberton was forced to revise his formula. He removed the wine and replaced it with a sugary syrup and a dash of caffeine. Still searching for that signature kick, he added a secret blend of oils and spices. Then came the twist. He mixed it with carbonated water. People were hooked. Originally sold at soda fountains as a medicinal drink, Coca-Cola was never intended to be a beverage for pleasure. But its refreshing taste caught on fast, and over time, the Coca was phased out, the formula was locked away in a vault, and a brand legend was born. What started as a failed remedy for fatigue is now one of the most recognizable products in the world. Coca-Cola didn't just cure headaches, it took over the planet. And to think, it was never meant to be soda in the first place. So, what have we learned? That delicious things happen when plans fall apart. A forgotten bowl of grains gave us beer. A broken chocolate bar gave us cookies. And a medicinal flop gave us the world's most famous soft drink. Next time your sauce splits or your dough won't rise, don't panic. You might just be seconds away from a masterpiece. Because history has proven it again and again. The best recipes aren't always written down. Sometimes, They're just lucky mistakes waiting to taste amazing.